These are this afternoon's top stories. 9 bills to be read at National Assembly sitting on Tuesday. President Granger supports the Salvation Army and critics slam Obama's migrant policy after Paris attacks. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, 16th November 2015. I'm Carla Berridge. In national news, while 9 bills are listed to be read during Tuesday's sitting of the Federation's Parliament, the one that is expected to gather much discussion is the Tenure of Office of Prime Minister Bill 2015. That bill will be presented by Attorney General the Honorable Vincent Byron. The issue of implementing term limits for the Prime Minister was among the promises made by Team Unity in the most recent election campaign. As a matter of fact, page 46 of the Coalition's Prosperity for All manifesto states that a Team Unity government will, within 100 days, introduce legislation limiting the term of Prime Minister to 2 terms. Also during Tuesday's Parliament sitting, the country's Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Sustainable Development, National Security and People's Empowerment, Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, will seek leave to introduce and have read a first-time Stamp Amendment Bill 2015, Insurance Amendment Bill 2015, and Criminal Procedures Amendment Bill 2015, while Attorney General the Honorable Vincent Byron will seek leave to introduce and had read for the first time the Evidence Amendment Bill 2015 and the Administration of Small Estates Amendment Bill 2015. Agriculture Minister the Honorable Eugene Hamilton will seek leave to introduce and hand read a first time the Fisheries Bill 2015, while the Public Infrastructure Minister Honorable Ian Liburd will seek leave to introduce and have read a first time the St. Kitts Electricity Supply Amendment Bill 2015. Honorable Vance Amry, the Minister responsible for Ecclesiastical Affairs, will seek leave to introduce and have read a first time Pentecostal Church of God Incorporation Bill 2015. That bill, along with Stamp Amendment Bill, will also be read a second time. As always, ZIZ will provide live coverage via local television Channel 5, Radio 96.1 FM, and online at www.zizonline.com. 4 persons are reportedly in police custody following the seizure of 1 kilo of cocaine and a significant quantity of marijuana. According to a police press release, the cocaine, which carries a street value of EC $89,100, was discovered on Saturday when officers pursued an unidentified individual in the Gardens Housing Projects area in the Bay Road. He was reportedly spotted receiving a bucket from an occupant on board a small boat that was near the shoreline. The release also states that a search warrant was subsequently executed on the Salt Pond Alley residence of the individual who received the bucket. There, a large quantity of marijuana totaling 50.7 pounds with a street value of EC $380,250 was found. The individual and another resident of the premises who was present were taken into custody. The very detailed release also credits the St. Kitts and Nevis Coast Guard for later intercepting the boat. ZIZ News understands that the boat's 2 occupants were nationals of the Dominican Republic who claimed to be living on Nevis. The force's Assistant Police Commissioner, Ian Creeley, has credited his team, particularly the Anti-Narcotics Unit, for its recent successes. St. Kitts and Nevis was part of a speaking tour organized by Greater Caribbean for Life, an organization that campaigns for and works towards the permanent abolition of the death penalty in the Greater Caribbean region. On Friday, 2 representatives, Carmelo Campos Cruz and Bill Pelke, stopped by our studio to explain the reason for their visit. Cruz gave an overview of the speaking tour.
This is the 3rd stop of our speaking tour.
Okay.
We began in Barbados. There we had the opportunity to meet with religious leaders. We had an excellent conference at the Faculty of Law with the attendance of more than 90 students from all over the Caribbean. And then we went to St. Vincent. In St. Vincent we had the opportunity to meet with Bishop Friday of the Anglican Church.
Yes.
We went there for just 1 day, and then we came here.
We'll have more from that interview in a subsequent newscast.
Studies have shown that Christmas advertising for businesses can generate above average revenues. This holiday season, ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation wants to help you reach potential customers and increase your revenues. Whether you're a small, medium, or large business, ZIZ Broadcasting has designed a consolidated advertising package with you in mind on ZIZ Radio, television, ZIZ Online, and Big Wave FM 96.7. This holiday season, let ZIZ Broadcasting help you make the connection with potential customers. With deals starting as low as $351. Call our sales team at 465-2621 and let us help you reach your goal. More traffic, more sales, more revenue.
For the holiday season, let ZIZ Radio and Television help you show your customers you care. For a very competitive price, companies can wish their deserving customers happy holidays and thank them for their patronage over the past year. Call ZIZ at 465-2621 or 465-2623 and make arrangements for us to come to your workplace and record your TV holiday greetings. It's that time of year to show your customers you care. The deadline for the recording of Christmas greetings is November 30th.
On to news on the regional scene. The Caribbean community CARICOM has strongly condemned the terrorist attacks against innocent civilians in Paris, while individual regional leaders have also taken a similar position. CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Aurelia Rock, in a message of condolence, extended deepest sympathies to the relatives and friends of the 129 persons who lost their lives. He wished a speedy recovery to the more than 350 people who were injured. Guyana's Salvation Army has the support of President David Granger as it launches its annual Christmas appeal.
President David Granger, at the launching of the Salvation Army's campaign today, called for support of the organization's work, especially in the area of poverty reduction. The launching took place on the lawns of Guyana's stores.
The Salvation Army is renowned in the Western world for its war against poverty. And in Guyana, the war against poverty is one of our greatest, or poverty is one of our greatest challenges. We do believe that if Guyana is to move forward, we have to reduce inequality. And I am convinced, knowing the Guyanese people, although we are a very small population, that if there were fewer people, if we remove those inequalities, more people will graduate into the middle class, more people will be able to go to school, more people will be able to enjoy that good life that we have promised them.
The head of state said he not only respected the organization's work as an act of charity, but as an economic venture to reduce and remove inequalities.
I'd like to ask each person here to give generously, because it will come back to you. I'm heartened by that, yes, oh yes. It will come back to you. It will come back to you in fewer children who are homeless, fewer families who are in distress, fewer citizens who are poor and can't afford to send their children to school, and fewer families who are able to share that good life.
Meanwhile, President Granger also, on behalf of government, presented a check for $100,000 to the organization. Among those making donations today, too, were British High Commissioner Gregory Quinn, head of the Private Sector Commission, retired Major General Norman McLean, and head of the Rima Group, Jerry Gavaya.
And internationally, protests erupted in Minneapolis after police say they shot a man who allegedly tried to interfere with paramedics. The man is said to be on life support.
Protests are shaking Minneapolis after a police officer shot a black man. Police say they were called early Sunday for a report of an assault in North Minneapolis. Officers say a man interfered with paramedics who were assisting a victim. Police say they couldn't calm the man down, and an officer shot him at least once.
We need to know exactly what happened. We need to know the truth. Everyone involved needs that and deserves that.
Authorities have not released the man's name, but the Minneapolis NAACP and family members identify him as Jamar Clark. Witnesses say he was handcuffed when he was shot.
That man was shot in cold blood when he had his hands behind his back. That's not right. That's not right.
Police say preliminary information shows the man was not handcuffed, but that the investigation is ongoing. Demonstrators marched through city streets on Sunday.
If the police cannot protect us, then we don't need police in our community. We're one bullet away from Ferguson. That bullet was fired last night.
Police and a hospital spokeswoman could not comment on the condition of the man who was shot, but a state representative and a relative both say he's on life support. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
In light of the Paris terror attacks, political attitudes are hardening against opening America to Syrian refugees. Major Garrett reports.
With respect to refugees, we have the most extensive security vetting that we've ever had to deal with Syrian refugees coming into the United States.
Deputy National Security Advisor Ben Rhodes, brother of CBS News President David Rhodes, said screening includes the Departments of State, Homeland Security, and the National Counterterrorism Center. It's a vetting process that can take 12 to 18 months.
Some of these people are people who've suffered the horrors of war. They're women, they're orphans.
As waves of Syrians fled the region this summer, international aid organizations urged the U.S. to accept no fewer than 65,000 refugees. The White House figure of 10,000 appeared miserly then, but to Republican presidential contenders Ben Carson and Marco Rubio, it looks reckless now.
Bringing people into this country from that area of the world, I think, is a huge mistake.
It's not that we don't want to, it's that we can't, because there's no way to background check someone that's coming from Syria. Who do you call and do a background check on them?
Jeb Bush, who staked out a more welcoming position on refugee resettlement over the summer, now wants to narrow the focus.
And I think our focus ought to be on the Christians who have no place in Syria anymore. They're being beheaded, they're being executed by both sides.
At the CBS Democratic presidential debate, Martin O'Malley stuck with his summer support of 65,000 new refugees.
Accommodating 65,000 refugees in our country today, people of 320 million, is akin to making room for 6.5 more people in a baseball stadium with 32,000.
The Republican-led Congress may attempt to block the White House refugee plan, arguing, as Rubio did, that after the mayhem in Paris, just one ISIS-inspired terrorist out of 10,000 impoverished refugees simply isn't worth the risk.
Taking a look at the weather, temperatures today will peak at 77 degrees Fahrenheit with a moderate breeze blowing from the east at 12 miles per hour. Skies today will be partly cloudy with a chance of few showers. These conditions will continue into this evening. Seas are moderate with waves up to 6 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers are therefore asked to exercise caution. Sunset today will be at 5:35 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:17 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Barrage.